Oh, my fucking ass is hurting so much. Oh, my ass. Oh, this seat's not a good idea. Oh, this is getting uncomfortable. Oh, my ass. How's it going, gents? Today, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna sit down and talk about 10 things that I hate and love about this car. Obviously 5 things I love about it and 5 things I hate about it. So let's get into it. All right, the first thing that I absolutely love about this car is the sound that the 2J makes. I don't know, whatever, I don't care what anyone says. It is up there with the top sounds that a 6-cylinder engine makes, or petrol one. So I just love how, depending what you do on it, like what cams on it you have on it, what setup, what exhaust, it all makes it sound different, what turbo manifold, and you know, there's a plethora of things you can do to it to make it sound real good. But my personal favorite is the ones that have no cat, straight pipe, absolutely no restrictions at all, and you get that pure raspy 2J note. It's pretty much on par with the same as like what the 1J sound like, real raspy, but you can tell that the 1Js are a little bit more high pitchy and these are a little bit deeper. So these things, the sound is the #1 thing for this, and that's the one thing that I love about this thing. Oh, my ass is hurting. Second thing that I love about this car is the look. Look, the look for itself speaks for itself. Like, I love the way my car looks because I'm biased, because I love the American Supra looks, like the lip and the TRD spoiler and just the actual, just like OEM plus kind of features and body kits on it. I reckon my car looks the best because it's my car, so fuck you. And I reckon it looks perfect. Like, it's aged so well. It's 30 years old and it's aging really well. Like, compared to other cars that are 30 years old, this thing is looking like amazing. That's the second thing that I love about this thing, is just the way it looks and how timeless the shape is, and everything just, I don't know, it'll look good in another 30 years as well. So we'll see if the car's still alive in another 30 years, you know, who knows what might happen. But that's the other thing that I love about it, is the way it absolutely looks. The third thing I love about this car is the reliability of the mighty 2J. The 2J is hands down one of the most reliable engines out there. It has limited problems. It pushes really good power when, like, obviously it all depends on the tune, the turbo, everything. Like, there's a vast majority of things that makes it work together. So if you have like a turbo that comes on really high, very early, then obviously the engine's gonna spit a rod at the side of the block. But if you have it like coming up later, and you know, that preserves and saves the engine. Apart from that, the reliability for those engines that are pushing, I don't know, there was a recent video of a Precision, I think it was Precision uploaded a photo of a 2J that was pushing 900 horsepower or something like that. And that's obviously, yeah, it's pretty cool to, you know, have a stock bottom end that pushes that much power, 30-year-old engine, but it's all based on how well it's going to run for and how long for, because when you're pushing that much power, reliability sort of goes out the window, because it's only a matter of when and if it's going to actually blow up. But regardless, if you drive it properly, tune properly, and don't do two-step or rolling anti-lag, the engines will last pretty well. I was unfortunate enough to be handed a lemon. So I had a blown engine, as you all know. So I had to rebuild the engine from ground up. Everything's pretty much done except for the crank and block. It's pretty much, they're bulletproof. But from then on, it's been pretty good. I haven't had any problems. It's been reliable. You know, it's a built engine, so eventually the more you push at it, the more power you need. You need to service these engines every now and then, depending how hard you push it, because I know drift cars, they get pushed hard and they're on the limit every single time. and depending how hard you drive it, you're supposed to like service it and look after it, pull it out, inspect everything. Even if you don't service it, you're supposed to inspect it and just to see the health of the engine. Apart from that, they're pretty good engines, man, and this one's doing pretty well, so very nice. Oh, this seat's not a good idea. Next thing I love about this car is the interior. I reckon this is the best interior you could get in a car, period, in my opinion. Apart from a McLaren F1, which the seat's in the center and everything else is around you, you're like in a spaceship in that car. But this one, I feel like it's just everything's around you. You're in a cocoon of buttons, controls, everything to do with driving. Just everything's just there, easy to reach. It just makes driving a lot more pleasurable and gives you an experience when you drive this car. I feel sorry for the passengers because there's literally nothing. All you have is just 2 glove box and a grab handle. So you really want to be in the driver's seat, because this is where the fun is and this is where the experience is. Now, the things that I hate about this car. Let's begin with the cost to run. It is expensive to run. This thing runs on E85, and for those who know E85 goes like that. The moment you start driving, from the moment you hit boost, you go through it. E85 burns a lot quicker, so that in itself is expensive. And here in Australia, E85 is like $2.19. I'll do a conversion for you guys, and that's really expensive, and it's always the most expensive fuel there is on the Bowser. It makes it annoying because it's just how quickly you run out of it. The oil filter service, maintenance, all that shit is expensive as well. I use Castrol Supercar 1060 in this engine. That in itself is like $110 for 5 liters, and you have to service the car every like 500 to 1,000 kilometers because the E85 gets into the oil and it contaminates the oil, and you don't want that shit running around your bearings. So that in itself is expensive as well. What else? Just those are the main 2 ones actually, but like spark plugs are expensive as well because I'm running, like, it depends on who your tuner is and what they suggest. I run iridiums, and they're like racing iridiums, so like you have to listen to what your tuner says, otherwise you don't want to defy your tuner. So yeah, that's the plugs that I run, and there's a lot of like gearbox oil, diff oil, coolant. Coolant's not too bad. You can get like Toyota coolant, which is relatively cheap for a concentrate, but over a long period of time it all adds up. But yeah, that's the main issue that I hate about is how much it costs to run, and on top of that, insurance and the cost of your mental state when you have to pay for things. For those who don't know and have never driven a Supra, these things are the worst to reverse. You have small shitty mirrors that you can't see shit out of. You have the rear seat pillar, which is like this thick, so you can't see out of the mirrors, or your head turn you can't see. Then on top of that, you're so far inwards of the car, inboard of the car, of your seat, so like your seat is like towards the center of the car. You can't really pop your head out and check. You have to open the door and like have a look while you're reversing. It's like full like a Lamborghini Diablo type of reversing, but not that bad. That's the other thing that I absolutely hate about this thing, because it's just a bitch to reverse park, and if you fuck up your reverse park, you look like an idiot. You get a hit to your pride and your ego because you have to take 2 turns to actually reverse park. But yeah, that's the other thing that I absolutely hate about this thing. The next thing that I hate about this car is the fucking price of factory parts. Factory parts it's ever since they stopped making parts for the Supra, they've gone up the 10x. They've gone up so much that you're scared to break anything, like I blew my diff at Calder Park like, when was it, like 5 years ago. But when I blew my diff, it cost me almost like $5,000 to rebuild the diff, to find an LSD that was suitable for the car. So in that aspect, trying to find parts for the Supra is really fucking hard and really difficult. And if you do find a part, you're paying premium top dollar as well. Like it's like the GTR tax, man. Like Supras have a tax on it too. Like it's ridiculous. Trying to find a GT engine nowadays, you're spending like $12,000 to $15,000. Like 5-6 years ago, it was like $5,000. It's gone up so much. It's absolutely ridiculous how much it's gone up. Oh, this is getting uncomfortable. So yeah, that's the other problem about these things, is the price of parts. There is aftermarket support now. Slowly they're starting to reproduce parts and stuff, which is good, because once you reproduce parts that are expensive, people are going to stop pricing as much because this part's already available. Yeah, granted it's not factory, but it'll have better than factory like fit and finish. And like it's available as well for a fraction of the price. So that's the other thing that I absolutely loathe about this thing is like if I break something, I'm fucked. Like it's just too expensive and it's just annoying to think about when you're driving it. But oh my ass. The next thing that I hate about this thing is the potential for these to get stolen, because you always have the fear in the back of your mind. When you drive cars like this, obviously you know what you're driving. There's a lot of attention out there. They're not the run-of-the-mill kind of daily cars that you see, you know, like these pop out anywhere that you go. They always draw attention. It draws the good attention and it draws the bad attention at the same time as well. The bad intentions that come with the car is cunts trying to steal it. I've had an instance where someone tried to steal my car by breaking into the passenger side door, where they actually use a screwdriver to try and break into it, but they got very unlucky because the door lock where you put the key in sort of popped in, and they sort of, you know, didn't steal my car. So I was very thankful for that. And the final thing that I hate about this car is the amount of dudes it attracts. If you plan on buying a car like this to attract bitches, nah, forget about it. You're gonna get more dicks in your DMs than fucking boozy in your DMs. And that's probably the worst thing about driving a car like this. You get all the bros like, oh bro, it's a sick car, yeah, how much power you pushing, how much this, how much that. Don't expect to attract any women because they do not like this car. Now it's getting better, but you still get more dudes than girls. Oh, my fucking ass is hurting so much.